Look around you. In every face, in every crowded city, and in the quietest corners of the globe, you are seeing a miracle of survival. We differ in language, culture, and appearance, yet beneath the skin, our genetic code is 99.9% identical. For centuries, we have asked the same haunting question: where did this journey begin? Was there a single Garden of Eden? A specific point on the map where the first true human looked up at the stars? For a long time, science thought it had the answer locked away in the Great Rift Valley. But the Earth has recently whispered a new secret, one that pushes our origin back by 100,000 years and scatters the cradle of humanity across an entire continent.
For decades, the story was simple. Around 200,000 years ago, in the volatile, volcanic landscapes of East Africa, modern-day Ethiopia and Kenya, Homo sapiens emerged. This was the East Side story. Fossils like Omo 1 and Herdo seem to confirm that this rift was the exclusive nursery of our species. We imagined small bands of hunter-gatherers evolving in isolation, trapped by geography, slowly developing the cognitive tools that would one day build pyramids and spaceships. It was a neat, tidy narrative. But science is rarely tidy. As we dug deeper, anomalies began to appear, suggesting that the garden was much larger than we dared to imagine.
The bombshell dropped in 2017, thousands of miles away from the Rift Valley, in a collapsed cave near the Atlantic coast of Morocco. Here, at a site called Jebel Irhoud, researchers unearthed skulls that looked startlingly like us. But when they dated the flint blades found alongside them, the result was impossible: 300,000 years old. That is 100 millennia older than the previous record holders in Ethiopia. This discovery shattered the idea of a single spot of origin. It suggested that early humans weren't just in the East. They were spread across the entire African continent, evolving in a pan-African network, connected by shifting green corridors. To understand why we are here, you must understand the engine that drove us, the Green Sahara. We think of the desert as an eternal barrier, but Earth's orbital wobble creates a cycle where the Sahara blooms. 300,000 years ago, Africa was a wet, verdant archipelago of habitable zones. These fluctuating climates acted like a pump. When the rains fell, populations expanded and mixed, sharing genes and innovations. When the desert returned, they were isolated, developing unique traits. We are not the product of a garden, but of a dynamic, breathing continent that forced us to adapt or die. While fossils give us snapshots, our blood tells the full story. Geneticists tracing mitochondrial DNA, passed down only from mothers, lead us back to a theoretical Mitochondrial Eve who lived in Africa roughly 150,000 to 200,000 years ago. She wasn't the only woman alive, but her lineage is the only one that survived unbroken to the present day. This genetic trail confirms that, while we may have had cousins like the Neanderthals in Europe or Denisovans in Asia, every single person alive today is a descendant of this African diaspora. We are, quite literally, one family, separated only by time and geography. Roughly 60,000 to 90,000 years ago, a small group, perhaps fewer than 1,000 people, made the most consequential journey in history. Driven by drought or curiosity, they left Africa. They crossed the Gate of Tears into the Arabian Peninsula and the Levant. This was the bottleneck. Most lineages that tried to leave before had failed, dying out in the harsh Levant deserts. But this specific wave succeeded. They were the ancestors of all non-African humans today. They walked out of the cradle and into a world already inhabited by other human species. For a long time, we thought we wiped out the Neanderthals through war, but the DNA tells a more intimate story. As we moved into Europe and Asia, we met them. We lived alongside them, and we mated with them. Most non-African people today carry 1 to 2% Neanderthal DNA. We didn't just replace the others, we absorbed them. This interbreeding gave us survival advantages, genes that helped us cope with new diseases and colder climates. We are a mosaic of these ancient encounters, a hybrid species that outlasted the rest. From a scattered population in Africa to 8 billion people spanning every continent, our journey is improbable. We are the survivors of climate shifts, volcanic winters, and near-extinction events. The question, where did we begin, has a complex answer. We began in the Rift Valley, yes. We began in the caves of Morocco. We began in the Green Sahara. We are the product of a whole continent's diverse experiments in being human. Wherever you are right now, remember, you are the result of 300,000 years of wandering. The cradle is not just a place on the map, it is the resilience written into your very code.